keep running because I had some ideas I wanted to tie in tonight. So what I was saying prior to this video is that if you were to like look at like think about what is attractive and not attractive, and like you look at a person like me on this camera, you might appreciate my appearance as attractive or not attractive, and then also other people that you may know or you come across. I don't think I don't subscribe to comparing ourselves to other people because I think we can make mistakes when we think that we're better or worse than other people that we didn't have to make. But you can, but we as humans we're constituted as some of I think that they say that human beings have existed as a tournament mating species, so that a lot of the dynamics about how we come to procreating to making love are very competitive, but also how we enjoy making love and the experience of making love itself is competitive. Some people say that like there's always three people in love, right? So there's two people that get to be in love, and there's at least one other person that got maybe jilted or ignored or discounted or has to watch. So that can you really make love without a spectator? So even as you enjoy making love in privacy, one on one, is there not something of a spectator that you can at least perceive or imagine like, yeah, we're so crucial and vital doing this or that, while this one or that one is worried about this one or that. And there's this song, this treacherous but beautiful R&B song that's like, you're my little secret, and that's how we should keep it. There's something something, and your girl don't know. And so it's like a woman like talking about like falling in love with a man, while and she's enjoying the fact that sometimes when they're together in front of his other partner, his official partner, the official partner has no idea the connection about them that they're consummating in privacy, and that's kinky and cool to that person. And I'm not saying that wouldn't be kinky or cool to anyone if you didn't get to be on the fun side of that. But if you're on the less fun side of that, then it might not feel like that. But that's an example. I think that had been, what group was that? I think that was Escape from the '90s that had that song. It was, I think it was produced by Jermaine Dupri. It's actually a pretty beautiful song, like the music to it. But it's just an example that we're a tournament mating species as humans, and everyone plays a fool. You know, there's no crying about that for too long. Because I watched this video by Kevin Samuels, and he's like he said there's no crying in baseball. He said something like you got to suck it up. There's no crying in baseball. And like at that time, I didn't get like what he meant by that, but it's like it did. Sometimes things don't occur to you, but like if we're thinking about like playing baseball, like getting past all the bases, like as lovemaking goes, there's no crying in that. So that might, I don't know if that's what he meant by that, but that's how I took it as. But so I'm not trying to cry because I still enjoy the game of baseball, the idea of baseball. But what I meant to say is that well, we're tournament mating species like that, and so therefore we are constituted as an ego. Ego is part of what it is to be human, and I think that sometimes I've posted in other spaces that attempting to go beyond the ego can sometimes be a form of having a bigger ego. And if you've ever not experienced something as insufferable as a person that were to think that they didn't have an ego, that would be very difficult. And if you actually did meet someone that didn't have an ego, would that not also be insufferable? Because like, damn, that fool doesn't have an ego, man. What does that make me? How do I feel? What do I look to like to everyone else that can see that person that does not have an ego? So is that yet not yet still a hierarchy that's being enforced, that's being invoked by someone's awesomeness? Can someone's awesomeness and lack of ego not also substantiate and vitalize yet a hierarchy again? And I think that hierarchies amount to brutality at one point. I think hierarchy, brutality, you can't have the one without the other. But but we're very we think in terms of that's actually part of how we exist and how our mind. They talk about how great the human mind is. Part of the human mind is that it differentiates, that is, discriminates. It recognizes patterns, but part of pattern recognition is to discriminate. And the word discriminate I wanted to talk a little bit in the series about how words can have inflections and overtones and be imbued with nuance and meaning that's different than the actual true essence or what can be appreciated as some of the reality of that word and what it's reaching for, and some of the imbuing of language, that is the connotation, according to Tashriq Bey, can actually it can be a detriment to human beings when language is employed that with connotation and inflection and nuance that's different than the reality that's being reached for with that word. It could be a short sight in language, but also how language is being employed. And I've made other videos is that I don't commend connotative over and above denotative, nor the other way, and that they may be actually a different dimension of one the other. More so, denotative language units, that is etymology, being a function of slang and metaphor in the first place, that is connotation. Also, like onomatopoeia, making sound words that sound like sounds, and metaphor together, according to a book on poetry, would be the engine of language. But I was going is that so the human mind actually does discriminate when you're looking when you look out. So he saw and he saw it. So the Lord saw and saw that it was good. The Lord saw the Lord created light, and he saw and it was good. He actually discriminated at that point, because when you look at something, you're actually discriminating. Okay, that's a dark shirt over there. That's a guitar over there. But how do I know the guitar from the dark shirt? Is that the guitar is a little bit lighter than the shirt, and also by the shade of the guitar, I can appreciate the position of it and therefore distinguish it. But I had actually discriminated in the real sense of the word discriminate. And so, but when if you add a moral component, or you add the history of how that dynamic has functioned in a maybe inequitable, brutal, murder, a way that is antithetical to human life, welfare, and happiness and health, that is still part of that word, but that's not all of what that word can be, and it can cause short-sightedness and some of the damage of different forms of ignorance when we don't understand, or we don't appreciate what is being expressed. But from that standpoint, we all discriminate all the time. And just in the fact of you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? You open your eyes, you see the shade in a room, you see the different objects. You are discriminating at that point. So from the moment you open your eyes, you are discriminating. And so actually, I think that might actually be beauty, is where you can see similarity within difference, and unity within diversity within unity. That's beauty at that point. And that might be all we're getting to, or getting past, as discrimination goes. But so just for the sake of what I'm saying is that we compare things. So you could see how I appear, and you could compare me to other people that you would know, and you might feel and have actually the sensation of another person being attractive, though comparatively speaking, in ways that are appreciated generally, as what would be a standard of beauty or taste. One person might have the features, or that's like I'm 6'4", I stand 6'4". Generally and ignorantly speaking, people would say that's a beauty aesthetic to some people's taste, but that doesn't mean I'm having more pull or attraction with another person. So what I meant to say is that a lot of how we're moving in life, and how we're being, what we're saying, what we're doing, all this it amounts to our vibration, that is the actual the inertia, but also the cadences of our actual goings on. And it amounts to energy. It's deeper than what you would see on the surface, but it can be felt, and it can actually be seen on the surface, but seen through the surface while being seen on the surface. And that's what you may appreciate subliminally, and also even a little superficially, as you would look at a person, whether or not they're according to a popular standard of attraction. The way they're actually moving and being can amount to how they come across. And that might be some of what our senses actually pick up of one another, past what we experience on the surface, according to Morris Brooklyn, in that our senses have more meaning and function than we appreciate. Also, the connection between like ears and balance would be an example. But what I was saying in that other video is that it's just profound that our eyes correspond to light, but our eyes also correspond to all of our body. And so as these people who are training me today were saying, is that wherever your eyes go, your vehicle is going to go there. But it's actually because our entire existence is connected to our eyes, especially our hands, but not limited to our hands. Also our ears, like when I do like guitar, I'm leading with my ear and doing finger style. But it's profound that we can we can perceive light, but yet we're entirely connected to what we perceive and our apparatus for perceiving our eyes. That's very profound that I just wanted to point out.